Assalamu alaikum students. This is your teacher Muhammad Umar Khatak for the subject Organizational Theory and Behavior. This would be our 11th lecture and chapter number 3rd, and today we'll be studying major job attitudes. Attitudes and job satisfaction. What are the major job attitudes? Job satisfaction, a positive feeling about the job resulting from an evaluation of its characteristics. A person with high level of job satisfaction holds positive feeling about his or her job, while a dissatisfied person holds negative feelings. When people speak of employee attitudes, they usually mean job satisfaction. In fact, the two are frequently used interchangeably. Because of high importance OB researchers have given to job satisfaction, we will review this attitude in detail in later chapters. Job involvement. Degree of psychological identification with a job where perceived performance is important to self-worth. Employees with a high level of job involvement strongly identify with and really care about the kind of work they do. Another closely related concept is psychological empowerment. Belief in the degree of influence over the job, competence, job meaningfulness, and autonomy. For example, one study of nursing managers in Singapore found that good leaders empower their employees by involving them in decisions, making them feel their work is important, and giving them discretion to do their own thing. High levels of both job involvement and psychological empowerment are positively related to organizational citizenship and job performance. In addition, high job involvement has been found to be related to a reduced number of absence and lower resignation rates. The third job attitude that we'll discuss is organizational commitment. Identifying with a particular organization and its goals while wishing to maintain membership in the organization. High job performance means identifying with your specific job, while high organizational commitment means identifying with your employing organization. There are three separate dimensions to organizational commitment: effective commitment, emotional attachment to an organization, and belief in its values. For example, a pet shop employee may be effectively committed to the company because of his involvement with animals. Continuous commitment, perceived economic value of staying compared to leaving the organization. An employee may be committed to an employer because she is paid well and feels it would hurt her family to quit. Normative commitment, obligation to remain with the organization for moral and ethical reasons. For example, an employee who is spearheading a new initiative may remain with an employer because he feels he would leave the employer in the lurch if he left. Perceived organizational support. It is the degree to which employees believe the organization values their contribution and cares about their well-being. Research shows that the employees perceive their organizations as supportive when rewards are deemed fair. Employees with strong perceived organizational support perceptions are more likely to have higher level of organizational citizenship behavior and job performance. Employee engagement and job engagement. An individual's involvement with, satisfaction with, and enthusiasm for the work he or she does is called job engagement. For example, we might ask employees about the availability of resources and the opportunities to learn new skills, whether they feel their work is important and meaningful, and whether their interaction with coworkers and supervisors are rewarding. Highly engaged employees have a passion for their work and feel a deep connection to their company. Disengaged employees only put time to their work, but not any sort of energy or attention. A recent study of nearly 8,000 business units in 36 companies found out that compared with other companies, those companies whose employees had higher average levels of engagement had higher levels of customer satisfaction, were more productive, had higher profits, and had lower levels of turnover and accidents. A number of studies have been conducted to evaluate the predictors of job engagement. These studies suggest that high levels of engagement in work are associated with clear job guidelines, personnel control, autonomy over job performance, and performing work consistent with one's identity, which is therefore personally meaningful. All these variables serve to engage the self system of an individual in job performance. There are a combination of cognitive and emotional antecedent variables. Studies also found that the job attributes predictive of job engagement may change depending on aspects of the employee sample or working conditions acting as moderating variables. Consequences of job engagement may be proximal, such as increased absorption, effort, and perseverance on the part of employees, or distal in the form of well being. Job satisfaction. It is a positive feeling about a job resulting from an evaluation of its characteristics. How to measure job satisfaction? This definition is clearly a very broad one. Yet breadth is an inherent in this concept. Remember, a person's job is more than just the obvious activities of shuffling papers, writing programming code, waiting on customers, or driving a truck. Job requires interacting with coworkers and bosses, following organizational rules and policies, meeting performances standards, and living with working conditions that are often less than ideal, and the like. This means that an employee's assessment of how satisfied he is with the job is a complex summation of a number of discrete job elements. Then, how do we measure the concept? The two most widely used approaches are a single global rating and a summation score made of several job facets. Single global rating. It is nothing more than an answer to a simple question, such as, all things considered, how satisfied are you with your job? The respondents circle a number between 1 and 5 that corresponds to answers from highly satisfied to highly unsatisfied. Summation of job facets. It is more sophisticated. It identifies key elements in a job and asks for employees' feelings about each. Typical key elements here are nature of work, supervision, present pay, promotion opportunities, and relation with co-workers. Respondents rate them on standardized scale, and researchers add the ratings to create an overall job satisfaction score. Is one of these approaches superior to the other? Intuitively, summing up responses to a number of job facets seems likely to achieve a more accurate evaluation of job satisfaction. The research, however, doesn't support the intuition. This is one of those rare instances in which simplicity seems to work as well as complexity, and comparisons of the two methods indicate that the one is essentially as valid as the other. The best explanation for this outcome is that the concept of job satisfaction is inherently so broad that single question captures its essence. Another explanation may be that some important facets are left out of the summation of the job facets. Both methods are helpful. For example, the single global rating method isn't very time consuming, which frees managers to address other workplace issues and problems. And the summation of job facets help managers zero in on where problem exists, making it easier to deal with unhappy employees and solve problems faster and more accurately. What causes job satisfaction? Enjoying the work is almost always the one most strongly correlated with high levels of overall job satisfaction. Interesting jobs that provide training, variety, independence, and control satisfy most employees. Most people prefer work that is stimulating and challenging over work that is routine and predictable. There is an interesting relationship between salary and job satisfaction. The impact of dissatisfied and satisfied employees on the workplace. One theoretical model is helpful in understanding the consequences of dissatisfaction. Exit. The exit response involves directing behavior towards leaving the organization, including looking for a new position as well as resigning. Voice. The voice response involves actively and constructively attempting to improve conditions, including suggesting improvements, discussing problems with superiors, and undertaking some forms of union activity. Neglect. The neglect response involves passively allowing conditions to worsen, including chronic absenteeism or lateness, reduced effort, and increased error rate. Loyalty. The loyalty response involves passively but optimistically waiting for conditions to improve, including speaking up to the organization in the face of external criticism and trusting the organization and its management to do the right thing. Exit and neglect behavior encompasses our performance variables, productivity, absenteeism, and turnover. But this model expands employee response to include voice and loyalty, constructive behaviors that allow individuals to tolerate unpleasant situations or to revive satisfactory working conditions. It helps us to understand situations, such as those sometimes found among unionized workers, for whom low job satisfaction is coupled with low turnover. Union members often express dissatisfaction through the grievance procedure or through formal contract negotiations. These voice mechanisms allow them to continue in their jobs while convincing themselves that they're acting to improve the situation. This is the end. Thank you.